You can't give what you don't have. When you are talking about integrity, you are really talking about the real person, who that person is.
When you talk of integrity, you talk of honesty. To be honest. And to be honest means to be trustworthy, to be truthful. And politics is science and art of government.
Politics is about the people.
Yes.
And if you talk about it in a deeper sense, it has to do with how people take decision on how to lead themselves.
It's good to have you on this new episode of Christians in Politics. We thank God for the gift of life. We shall be discussing matters arising towards the 2019 general elections in Nigeria. Nigeria has an estimated population of 180 million, ranked the 13th largest oil-producing nation in the world, and the second largest oil-producing nation in Africa, and about 60% of the people are youths. The Nigerian youths are faced with tremendous challenges of poverty, unemployment, low standard of education, insecurity, corruption, to mention on a few, which is faced of it all. They still come out strong despite all this. Nigerian youths are so energetic and hardworking and can be found in all areas of human endeavors. Youth are the engine room for every nation, but in Nigeria, some of our older politicians have refused to allow the youth paddle the affairs of the nation. Some of these leaders do nothing but sleep during plenary sections in the House of Assembly and fight shamelessly in their chambers over issues that are of no benefit to the masses. Joining me this day to discuss this issue about youth preparedness for 2019 is Barrister Chinonso. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I also have Reverend Canon Smart in the house. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
How are you doing, sir? All right. We want to look at the 2019 election and what you feel about the preparedness of the youths towards this election. But before we go into that, we'll go on break now, and by the time we are back, we'll start this conversation on a full note. Stay tuned with us.
If we look around today, what do we see? What is the condition of our citizens? Where are we as a nation? How are we perceived locally and internationally? Why are we not making the expected progress? Why are we not growing? There is no time to waste. The time is now.
Yes.
To come together to stimulate growth in Nigeria, especially in the national economy. The choice we face in the forthcoming election is either to keep things as they are or make a radical departure from the old ways. To find a better way of doing things or keep repeating the mistakes of the past. To fix the problems or keep compounding the problems. It is with all this in mind and taking account of the challenges that I have outlined, I have decided to answer the call.
Before I go public, I have come before you to tell you once again I intend to offer myself to run for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I'm different because we are doing things differently. We are speaking to the aspirations of our people to have a greater country. We are speaking not only, we are making sure that we are reaching out to the people. I am the only presidential aspirant that's been to 26 states in 6 months. I have done 60 events, including meeting Nigerians at home and abroad, and exchanging ideas with them. I'm taking questions from them. I'm asking them, what do you need? I'm doing need assessment tours. I'm driving on some of Nigeria's most dangerous roads. I'm flying in some of the most rickety aircraft you can find in Nigeria, all for the sake of distinguishing ourselves and ensuring that we talk to our people, because other politicians are either talking over the people or not talking to them at all.
Thank you for staying tuned. We just listened to some of declaration by some of aspirants there, and looking at let's start just in 2018 this year. The bill on not too young to run was passed. Let me start with Reverend before we come to the barrister. What's your opinion about this bill?
Not too young to run bill actually is one of the best things that has happened to us in this country, particularly the youth in Nigeria. But then, permit me to cast our mind back, that politics has always been about the youth. If we go back to the 1960s, early 60s, all those who were at the helm of affairs were basically youths. So it's just that at some point, the youths are no longer coming. They went to sleep. But all of a sudden, when they look at the situations of our country, things that were going on, they were not happy. They felt the old are not handling the situations as it ought to be, and they are not meeting up with the challenges of our time. So the youth decided to come up to pursue this bill, and to God be the glory, it has been passed. So personally, to me, it's a good move. It's a good opportunity. But when it comes to if they will be able to become president of this country in 2019, well, I'm not sure yet, because it's still very premature.
But Barrister, when it comes to bills, how does it affect the orientation of a country or its people?
Well, actually, bill is a good thing. It affects the country or the initiative of the country positively, in the sense that when it becomes a bill, it's something that you can't just do it anyhow. It's something that is constituted. It's something that is legal.
Okay.
Now, it's something that is good. So it's a positive something. So it's not something that can just do anyhow. That's number one. Two, when just like Canon said, it's a good thing. But where I disagree with you, he said that at the point that youth went to sleep. I think it was even the older people that refused at a point for you to come out. That is where I want to disagree with you. Yes. At a point, the older people now refused
to leave the stage.
Of course. It's not that the youth went, maybe because now they have realized and the youth want to now come out as they have been coming out before now. That was why I think it's a good thing. The bill is a good thing.
Now, to me, let's look at from where you said.
Yeah.
In the whole time, people like even the current president and some other people were running this country in their early 30s,
Exactly. In fact, some were
late 20s.
Go on.
Yeah. Was the bill not in place before, or was it okay? Maybe it was by 1999 Constitution that the whole thing changed.
Yeah, 1999 Constitution did not favor the youth in one way. That is, the age with which you need to be able to contest for president is from 40 upward. So for those who were not up to 40, were not qualified to contest. Senators also have their own age and all that. It went down. So it becomes very, very difficult because of that constitution, which of course is legal. So it becomes very, very difficult for the youth to be able to aspire for the highest office in the land. But before then, the age did not count so much. So it was very easy then for them to be able to aspire and even become whatever they wanted to be. So it was very early. But I think that the moment they became, they never wanted to leave the stage. So they, no, I'm not. I don't agree with you. The young office holders of the 60s, because of how good what they were enjoying, they continue to remain in that particular office, recycling themselves. And the youth themselves, who are supposed to push, did not push. They did not push anything. If not, why is the not too young to run bill just coming now? Where have they been all this while? If they were not sleeping. It's a bill. Anybody can sponsor a bill and push it, and then the president, after the normal public hearing and reading, first, second, and third reading, then once it has been passed, the president will have to assent to it. If he refuses, the National Assembly themselves can. So, reason why I say the youth are sleeping is because if we have so many youth in the National Assembly, they will have been able to push the bill long before now, and the bill will have been implemented. But they were not there. Even right now that we are talking about not too young to run, yes, it has been signed. But how many youth do we have in the National Assembly who will be able to influence decisions so that it will favor the youth? How many of them?
But let's look at it. Age and leadership, does it count?
Age, I don't think so. I believe it's all about experience, all about ideology. When you talk about leadership, if I let even take it in a lecture scale, most of all when we're in universities, you see all these students in young government and all that. You now see maybe when you're in first year, there will be a particular administration. When you're in second year, the way you begin to compare, you now discover that the person who say that did good on your own assessment is not about age. There must be something that you see and say that this person is good. Now, bringing in the wider sense of Nigeria, I think age got nothing to do. It's all about experience and the ideology, what you have to offer. That's what I believe. And the issue of age here, I think kind of somebody who is 40 is also used somehow. Looking at it in context. Yes, in the context. Compared to somebody 70 and 60.
Because that's where I actually want to drive at.
Exactly. Yes, I understand. Maybe
not too young and youthful. Is there age brackets?
Not, of course, the bill. I didn't see anywhere where they say the age bracket and that's not young.
They only reduce the age.
Unfortunately, we don't have the bill. Yes,
it's being reduced.
So I'm saying that as somebody who is 40, is also you on my own perspective, compared to somebody who is 60, 70, or 80. And the person is claiming that he's sorry. So age got nothing to do with that. That's my own. So and somebody who is, or you are talking about people that should go to National Assembly. It starts from somewhere. So I think in as much as we might not say it's the right time, but I think it's okay now. So that we can start. We youth. Maybe you will start. We'll start from you. And I will continue.
I have already started.
So
I've started leadership since I was 22. So I have started.
My university days, even when I was in seminary, something. So leadership is not all about age. It's all about ideology and what you have.
The young aspirants and just the video we watched, we saw young aspirants and the old ones we've known. I mean the old ones we've known. What do you think Nigerians should be looking at for next year? Possibly having assessed what is going on now. Should we go after the young ones? Or maybe for this 2019 we can still retain the old one and see?
My brother, for me, we might not go for the young president yet. I have a reason for saying so. You know about the former President Bill Clinton. of United States. Before he contested and won in 1990, what now? 92? Thereabout. He was a governor of Arkansas. And as a young man who was a governor, he did very well. And people could see his achievement, the mark that he was able to put in place. So when he was contesting for president, it was easy for people to key into what he has done in the state where he's coming from, to be able to have confidence in him because he has been tested and proven. So it was easy for him to be able to win the election. Right now, all the young aspirants who are vying for the position of president, except for one of them who happened, which we cannot even consider as a young person because he's 50-something already, Kingsley Mogadu. But the rest of them, we've not seen them in National Assembly. We've not seen them in State Assembly. We've not seen them anywhere except for other position of leadership, which they, in their own right,
their private,
in their maybe business or something, which they have become, which is fine. But I think for you to make impact, first of all, come through your state, become a governor, become a state house of assembly. Let's see what you are made of. From there, as you're coming up, already you are building experience. Then we'll be able to test you. We've not seen anything. We've not seen anything from any of these guys. And then the whole thing is for us to trust them with such a sensitive position. Somebody say if you allow them to go there, they will go and dance shaku shaku. But let me also say, it is possible for us to give them a trial. I am not here to campaign for anybody, but among these young aspirants, I think I have seen some of them that we can try. But it will be very difficult for them, because if you are there, you need your colleague of like mind, a digital mind in the National Assembly who will support you for you to succeed. But if you are there alone, a tree cannot make a forest. And then you have these old ones in the National Assembly. And then each time you come, they say, look at this small boy, please go and sit down. And all that. It becomes very, very difficult. That is why I'm feeling that it's going to be very difficult for now, for the youth.
To take.
If I am to advise all these aspirants, they should vie for the position of senators, House of Reps, to go and influence bills. Let's start from there. Because I'm thinking this presidential system that we're even running is not too really favorable, so to say, to us, because it's too expensive for us. Had it been its parliamentary system, where among the parliament, they can have a prime minister who will run the country, and then the so much attachment of so much money attached to the running of the office will reduce. Then the money can now be channeled to other things.
But Barrister, what's your take on this?
Leadership, I keep on saying, is all about ideology. Canon, sir, I don't think that before you become a president, you must be a governor. Or you must be House of Rep or House of Assembly member. For the fact that this person did it does not mean another person will do it. Just like you said, if you look at the young aspirant coming up, and that's why I said the issue of youth is relative as far as I'm concerned. But if you look at the people, so take for example somebody like Fela, he's a young man. Yes, he's a young man. Thank God I'm an Igbo, so I'm
He's
not
already 40-something. No?
It doesn't matter. The issue of youth now, even to your
is relative.
Yes, because if you are looking at before we become president, this you become president, you start from being a governor, and we'll not get there.
Why can't we?
Becoming a governor, not, as a president, you can also influence something when you become a president as a youth. Right? Yes.
Mention one of them in the world, in the country
you have
of the world.
No, maybe people are mentioning the France president.
That's what I was about saying.
That guy was a minister.
Yes,
2 times minister.
Yes, I agree.
And he was a CEO of a bank.
I agree.
So he did well before becoming a president.
The more than you are
he has
saying,
been
the more
tested.
than you say the age is one step deputy governor of this country, deputy governor of CBN of this country. Forget that he's 50-something. To me, I said what you say what relative. Let's give them opportunity. Let us come out and give ourselves opportunity, because all these old people, so to say, they have been there even before most of us are born. We've not seen it. They will come and promise us heaven and earth. Let us try this youth, and then those old people will now come as fathers, giving us advice. And that's how I look at
Barrister.
it.
And we shift the one we can.
Have we not tried the youth yet? We have.
Well, so some people
the
have
governor of Kogi State is 41-year-old, and we've seen what he is doing in Kogi State. You can judge.
Some people are rating him as one of the worst governors.
Oh, is he not a youth?
He's a youth.
So that is the problem.
If you come,
but I think some indigenous of Kogi State will say they did not vote for him. He was imposed on the state.
So it's not here or there.
By powers to be.
So you could see that youth has been tested, and we've seen. So had he been this man now, has done very well. I mean, it will begin to give some of the old.
But that does not mean that for the fact that he did bad, another youth will do bad.
No, that is not what I'm saying. But I'm thinking that if you start somewhere, it will be good.
No. Before that, before we even go into that, to me, the not too young bill has been passed into law, but there's still something that we need to look at: the high cost of running for offices. Does it favor the? Because to me, the bill is not relevant yet until running for these offices is what someone like me and you can do. But you have, for example, in a political party where you need about 27 million to get a nomination form to be a president.
Non-refundable.
Non-refundable. If you eventually did not get the ticket,
forget about it.
You forget. And this is just a form. I mean, I asked somebody if this form is made of gold. And I was told, no, it's just a PDF. It's just a normal paper, colored printed. And so, where does the high cost of nomination forms and call, how does it give the youth room to vie for election?
To me, I think it's not favorable for the youth. I think that's why I said even the so-called old people, they know what they are doing. Imagine myself that I'm interested. Where would I get the 20-something million? It's a matter of giving you something
because
and another one to collect it.
Even one of the old persons said they borrowed at the last election.
Yeah, you can imagine that. So it's not attainable. We should come out with ideology. I keep on saying about ideology. Things that are possible, things that are attainable. How can you just, for example, that presidential for 20-something million, and it's not possible for you. Which youth? What will you be doing? You now discover that any youth now that is interested, we also now come and meet all these people who can. They will now sponsor
him,
and the person now will pay allegiance to the person. Automatically, the person is still in charge. Imagine maybe I go and borrow some money from somebody, and the person sponsors you and become the president. Automatically, the person is the president. So it's something that it is as if we use another hand to take it somehow. So it's not attainable at all. It's not taking us anywhere.
The 27 million you are even calling is low compared to another political party who you need 55 million.
Yes. I think that's one of the political parties is 55 million.
It's 55 million. And already their presidential aspirant is saying, I don't have the money. And some people have jokingly said, you should go and sell the bike of his son. to buy the form, that we cannot be deceived anymore. Anyway, let's leave that. You see, the politics of this country has always been politics of money and not ideology, and that is not good for the country. If you don't have money, forget about politics in Nigeria. You will not make any impact. There is someone I know who told me he contested for House of Representatives in the last election. And because it was delegate system, you need to sort out the delegates so that when they come for election, the primary election, they can vote for you. But guess what happened? He said he gave each of the delegate 150,000. But the other person gave them 200,000. And guess how many votes he got? He got 1 vote.
Oh.
Himself?
Yes. He got 1 vote. And the other person. And he is not that guy that I'm talking about in terms of education. He is far better than the other one. But because the other one had money, he is the one that eventually won that seat. Guess what? Now they are complaining that he's not doing well there. But his money took him there. In this country, sir, you can go to bank and borrow money for election. So when you get there, you will recover your money back and pay the bank their interest and their own money.
And do what pleases you.
And then, so you see how the mess we're in? How can we continue not to look for ideology? People who have the best for the masses. People who will govern well. People who know who have what it takes, but money.
But to me, I have looked at it. The processes of primaries in this country, I think, is actually what a lot of people don't look into, and which is actually the genesis of
the problem.
Because look at it, APC now is divided on the issue of direct or indirect primaries, while most of the governors knows that indirect primaries favors them. Because I think the one you mentioned now, from information that is out there, those are maybe small positions. If you primaries for governors and presidency go as far as bribing delegates with millions of naira.
If you are a delegate, you are rich. Of course.
In fact, there's a slogan. There's a slogan they do use now, that vote for me and build a house.
Exactly.
Because the money that is coming in for delegates is in millions. A delegate can get as far as 10 million naira just for
being a delegate.
Yeah. So, are there things to the direct and indirect? Which do you think the political parties that are actually democratic should follow?
Okay. First, before I get there, you will now understand why I say it's going to be very difficult for the youth to be in the highest office of the country because of all this that we're saying. We don't have the money to contest with the old politicians who have already gathered, who can bribe their way in, and people are hungry. Of what benefit will it be to me? I should continue to hold on to my vote and I'm hungry. So I will just collect the money, just go. The one I see, I collect. That is the mentality now. So it becomes very, very difficult because we have not gathered the money yet. So until we gather the money. And that is why I said it will be better for us to go into parliament to be able to stabilize the place, to be able to bring out policies and bills that will reduce the issue of money.
But getting to the parliament too is as difficult as getting to the top.
So all of it becomes problem. But somehow, if it is not presidency, as in the position of president, then the attachment, the attraction is a little bit low compared to that one. That is why I say, okay, if we can start from here to be able to gather momentum and to be able to reduce some things, then we'll get there. Now, coming to this question of direct or indirect, I think it is high time we should stop indirect primaries. Because, I mean, we've done that over time. Let me shock you that indirect primaries, that is where rigging starts. Rigging does not start during the general election on the ballot box. It starts from the delegate system, because the person who has the financial wherewithal will bribe everybody, and everything will be rigged in his favor, and it goes. So those who don't have money, they are rigged out. So the best will not always have the flag bearer of the party. So it is not the best. But these indirect primaries, where all and sundry have the privilege to elect who will flag the party flag bearer, I think is the best. So all those who are registered for the party can determine who. So because you cannot use 5 million, you cannot vote, you cannot bribe 5 million people.
Let's take a break.
You have to finish your money.
Let's take a break. Let's go on break, and during break we shall watch some clips, and we'll be right back. Just stay tuned with us. It's Christians in Politics.
11 aspirants then did their voting. Of the 11 aspirants that voted, this is what I would like to share with you. First, the 2 aspirants that exited after the opening conference this morning. Ahmed Buhari and Awal Abdullahi Aliyu exited from engaging in the process. The remaining aspirants that then voted this morning: Clement Jimbo, Dare Fagbebi, Elishama Ide, Fela Durotoye, Godstime Irabuchi, Kingsley Moralu, Matthias Babasado, Nicholas Felix, Oluwamuyiwa Favor, Thomas Wilson Ikubese, and Victor Ani Laju. These were the 11 that carried on with their process. At the end of the voting, amongst the 11 of them, this was the outcome. Clement Jimbo did not score any vote. Dare Fagbemi scored 1. Elishama Ide scored 1. Fela Durotoye scored 2. Godstein Irabuchi scored 1. Kingsley Moralu scored 2. Matthias Baba Sado scored 2. Nicholas Felix did not score any. Oluwamuyiwa Favor scored 1. Thomas Wilson Ikubese scored 1. Victor Anilaju scored none, which therefore meant that Fela Durotoye, Kingsley Moralu, and Matthias Baba Sado had tied at 2 votes each as the top 3 aspirants. The 3 top scorers exited in order that the rest of the aspirants would vote for their consensus candidate. They voted, and we have 1, Kingsley, Fela, Kingsley, Fela, Fela. So for these aspirants who decided to work together as a group known as PACT, presidential aspirants coming together, they have followed the process that they defined for themselves. I have done what I should do, which was to observe their process and to report on it. It is now their business to determine what their outcome means to them.
No, I was never part of PACT, and I attended one meeting, I think on July 31st of PACT, and I told them very clearly that I was not going to be part of PACT, that I believe that there are other forces out there that we can mobilize and conscientize, educate, and we can defeat President Buhari without joining and didn't have the mandate or didn't have the necessary spread to choose who should face Buhari. I looked into the room and I saw a lot of them are friends, many of them I've never heard about before. So I didn't even make any effort. And even when we went beyond that, as I tried to appeal to the rest of us, we planned a protest to extend and elongate the continuous voter registration exercise. They failed to show up. So immediately I decided not to be part of that, and they were all aware. So I'm surprised to hear that they claim that I was part of PAC. It's not correct. There's a misrepresentation of my participation in just one meeting. And everybody is aware where I stand, and they know that I was never part of this organization or this coalition. And there's a write-up by Tokwe Fasha, an insider account of what happened, where he did actually clarify this. So I was never part of PACT.
Thank you for staying tuned. And that was some clips on the young aspirants from the what we call presidential aspirant coming together, and the outcome of what happened, reactions from others who did not participate, and some of those. So let's look at what we just watched. Do you think the young ones who has come out now, do you think they are ready with what you are saying?
We are not ready. Why I say we are involved, because I mean,
you are beginning to agree with me.
No, we are not ready. No. What you said before, that you cannot go there. We can, but we are not ready. Because from the thing we just watched, you discover that everybody wants to be a leader. If you have an ideology, you have an ideology. I have. It's a matter of come, okay, go, let's try it. And this is where these old people, so to say, who have been there, we used to finish us. Just to get this. And Canon talked about the issue of bribe. Load this one money. Come for us. Forget all about this young man. What can he offer? What can he give you? You discover that both of you, both your ideology and that of the person, will die. For everybody wants to be. Imagine Mogala boycotted. In fact, before there's like two people already left. Exactly. Then at the end of the day, this person is not satisfied with. And from what we saw, it was free and fair to the best of my law, because at the end of the day, there was a tie and they came together and they did it before everybody. It's just that everybody wants to be a leader. And that is not too good for us. We are not going anywhere. Everybody
wants to be a president.
Yeah, that's a leader, yes, a president.
Whereas there are other positions.
And if you go to various states, you will also see some people, everyone wants to be a governor. So if we will say, okay, let's try this person, let's have a consensus, it will be better for us. But if it's this thing we are watching, this that is happening, we are not going anywhere. That's my submission.
I think you're waking up. You're beginning to wake up. Now, parts, presidential aspirant coming together, for me is one of the biggest joke of Nigerian politics, because it is premature. Why do I say so?
Okay.
These people are aspiring in their various political parties.
Okay.
They don't even have the ticket yet.
Are they even having primaries at all?
I don't know.
Some of them are the chairman of their party and the aspirants.
So you could see they don't have the ticket of that party yet. In other words, those who are also aspiring in the same political parties they are will already be feeling we are disadvantaged, because no primaries has been conducted. You are already saying you are the flag bearer of that political party, to the point of going into coalition with other political parties. So that part was dead in arrival. Because before you will be able to come together and say, okay, let's agree that one person should help us so that we'll be able to defeat the incumbent. Now, the problem is you don't have the flag bearer, so you cannot agree on anything. That is why some of the political parties that day, that 30th of August, when this election of consensus candidate was going on, some other political parties of some of these aspirants come out to say, we are not part of what is going on there. Whoever is there on his own. And of course, we will see how disagreement came up. This one say, I am not part of it. This one, even after they have agreed to come together, that whoever becomes the presidential candidate, we will support him. Immediately after that, Mr. Kingsley said, I am not part of it. Had it been he was the one that was the consensus candidate, will he have still back out? Why is he doing something that will make us not to trust him? If he can change his mind like this too early, we won't trust him. So it's a joke. It's too early. It's unprofessional and amateur for them to have done this. You wait until everybody have been able to become the flag bearer of his party, and you monitor the political atmosphere and see what is happening, and then look at among yourselves who is actually pulling weight. Then you can come together and say, we have to come together, because if we share, if the youth, 60% of the population begin to share all their votes to all of us, about 18 aspirants, then we cannot be able to defeat the current president. So let's come together. That would have been better. It's premature. That is why I say it's still a joke. But we are not there yet.
But to me, I was looking at, maybe just from what Kano was saying, that why couldn't they just start from being a governor of their state? Or possibly, if we have 12 or 15 aspirants who are going for presidency, to me, is Nigeria's problem about the presidency, or a lot of positions need to be fixed up with people of, because these are credible people.
Yes, I said that.
So that if somebody is being pushed as the president, then allow others to go and fight for Senate seats, reps.
Yes.
So that possibly.
No, I said that. No, Kama was like, we cannot get that president now. He was not saying, I'm not against people going governor. You didn't even mention people going for. He said anybody who will be president must at least be a governor. Remember, be has. I say you must not necessarily pass those orders. Or take those positions. Okay. And I now talked about ideology and what you have to offer. Yes, it's possible. In fact, I'm even on the opinion that some people can go for governorship. Some people can go for, where exactly that they must not, if I have interest and I have what it takes, I can straight go. Maybe like all these people now that are coming on, they feel that those ones are not necessary for them, that they have what it takes. But my advice and my submission is that youth should also diversify. Go to your various states. Find the ones you can. Like if I want to go into active politics now, if I want to, I will start from the grassroots. It's a personal opinion. It's what I'm, and I know if I decide to do that, I go from the grassroots. But this will feel that they can start from there. So my own advice and submission is that everybody, any youth, you think where you can do well, please go. But it's always better to start from the grassroots. That's what I'm saying.
Looking at, the governance of a country, to me, are the youth not looking at other aspects, becoming the Senate president, becoming the House of Rep, and then possibly becoming ministers and co, before even going into this presidency of a thing? And maybe Canon can take this together. Looking at all the aspirants, the young ones, who do you think possibly can pull the weight to...
Using presidential...
Yes, to drive away this...
You see, life is a process. And for me, I believe in process. Before I became a Reverend Canon, by the grace of God, as you can still very young, but I can promise you that a lot of years and effort has been put in place. 16 years has gone down the line. So I started early. In other words, I know what I wanted to become, and I went for it, and I started it. There were all manner of things that would have made me run away from the ministry, all kind of challenges that I faced. But I said, this is what I want. This is where God wants me to be. And no matter what, I'm going for it. And gradually, we're where we are today. So I want to believe that that is how life should be. If you jump to the top, my brother, the likelihood is that you fall. There are few who may jump, who may not fall. But so many may fall along the line. Okay. So that is why I started this program by saying that there should be a process. We should look at filling in other political positions, and when we get there, we influence all other things, bring out bills, see how we can reduce money politics and everything, and bring in ideologies. Gradually, in a non-distant time, it will become very easy for politicians to be able to aspire to whatever position they want to aspire. Now, with regards to who do I think?
Tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but honestly, I already have someone in mind.
Okay.
Kingsley Moghalu has always been in my mind. This is a person whom, before aspiring, have written a book on nation building, stating clearly what he wants to achieve, what he wants to do. He said, I have a vision for this country, and this is what I want. And look at one statement that he made that I so much like. He said, I am not going for presidency because I want power. I'm going to presidency because I want to reduce the power of the president. We cannot continue to allow the president to decide on everything in this country. Regions must function. States must function. We have to reduce it. Federal government must face defense, foreign affairs. These are the basic things federal government should be doing. But all other local politics, state governors should be empowered to be able to handle it. They should only pay tax to the federal government. Although there are some other modalities that can put in place, that can be in place to be able to checkmate the power of the regions or the governors, so that they won't overstep their boundary. Those ones will be there. I'm telling you exactly what I heard him say. His website is always open on my laptop because I am following him. And if you listen to him with his experience in the United Nations, I mean, you just need to listen to this man. It's wonderful. In fact, he said something. He said, if you hear countries of the world saying we are giving foreign aids to Africa, he said, being someone who has worked in the United Nations, they will have taken so much from you, and they will bring back little to you as foreign aids. And this is how they influence decision. In United Nations, those you are giving foreign aid must vote for you in any decision there. If they don't vote, you seize your foreign aid. That is how they continue to make the third world remain down where they are. And as I listen to him, I think he makes some sense. And then, for me, I see something in him. And my second will be Fela Durotoye. Because this is a man who mobilized the youth in Munchi, Lagos, to paint about 2,000 houses in one day. This fella, in one day, he mobilized the youth and they went out, paint all the houses around that environment. I said, wow, he must be someone who has the power to influence and control, to be able to have youths that will go out and do something like that. And I've listened to him talk. I think that he makes sense. In fact, he said Nigeria can be the most wonderful geographical location that nations of the world would desire to be if we can use and manage our resources very well. So these are some of the things I have in my mind.
Barrister, do you have anybody that you see?
Yes, to me, I think Moral is good. Of course, Fela is good. But I don't know much about Moral. I've read his book, I've followed him, but Fela is somebody I've known for quite some time. In fact, the first time I knew him was 2002. When we had the class function when I was a student, a law student in Nazareth University, Oka. I think I was the assistant secretary general of class from Christian Law Student Fellowship of Nigeria. And we invited this man. And the first day I heard him speak, I said, this is the material. And so I was so glad when I heard him, they declared interest to become the president. Just like he said, you know, we are not campaigning for anybody.
Yeah.
My own, I think, is because he has the power to look at what he just said, the testimony, somebody who is not even in any leadership position, so to say, where he can do this mobilization and he has something he can offer. I think he's the right person to me. He's the right person to me. As far as this face is concerned. Yes, it's Fela.
Now, before we move to conclude, let's look at the old ones. I think looking at the two big parties, APC might have just concluded on...
They have concluded. APC have concluded.
They might have just concluded on the septuagenarian, the man at the helms of affair. And looking at other ones in the other party, PDP, I think in PDP now, if I'm not mistaken, we have up to 12 people who have declared. I mean, almost every day, Wadata Plaza is now a supermarket.
I'm telling you.
Everybody comes to pick is it interest form now?
Yes.
So, and a few days ago again, I heard that the former Senate president too has also shown interest.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of them coming up. Everybody wants to. Is there anything in PDP that you think can happen?
I'm not a
next year?
politician, but if PDP continues this way, they're not going anywhere. It's just like what we're saying about the youth not getting a consensus. Former Senate President declared interest. The incumbent Senate President is also in the race.
Yes.
Governor of Dakwambo is in the race.
So many of them.
So we won't finish.
Now
the question is, why can't this come together? Knowing fully well that the ruling party is there already. And the ruling party will do everything to sustain, to remain where they are. This way is not the best way. That's what I'm saying. We cannot be leaders at the same time. Your own might be better than my own, but it's a matter of please go. Because I know it's for our own interest and for the general public. But if everybody wants to say, I am here, I'm here, PDP is not going anywhere. It's not the best way. So they have to come together. My advice to them, that's why I'm not a politician, no. I'm talking as a layman. They have to come together, bring themselves, if indeed their intention is to not only just to take over the leadership, but to make a very positive impact that will take this country from where it is to another level. They have to come together, reach on consensus, and also back up that person. Their brain. It's not the issue of when, just like what Morgan did, this one will back out. No.
Because I think
because
I'm expecting that. By the time the primaries are over,
you see most of them will not enter APC now. They will now go to your Twitter handle and say the personal reasons, and they will say, you know, they have to come. You know, we know all those things. And when somebody say personal reasons, you don't ask that person the question personal reasons. Yes,
personal reason remain personal.
So please, they have to come together, bring out one person and support it. Somebody who has ideology and who can take this country to the next level.
Well, Barrister has said he's not a politician. But if you remember your political science, every human being is a political being. So you are a politician. Now, looking at what is happening in PDP today, we cannot just conclude that if they are doing like that, they may not succeed. The first thing is for everybody to pick up interest form. And that is the only way you will know those who are vying for a particular position, when they pick up interest form and they've done their declarations and everything. Now, among all of them, we will now be able to know who has the credibility, the integrity, the wherewithal to be able to lead this country to where we want to be. So I want to believe that now that we've known those who want to be president, among them, we can now pick someone who can become. Now, from my analysis, from what I'm seeing, Tambuwal is a little bit early for him. Let him finish his tenure. So he should go back and do the second term as the governor of Sokoto. Ibrahim Dankwambo, I think this is his second term. We can consider him. Sule Lamido is still having some case with the EFCC and his son. You should go and sit down. Atiku have tried since 2007 to become. And I don't know whether he has settled his issue with his former boss.
With chairman
and all that. He seems to be advocating very well for what we call restructuring. He has advocated that very, very much. But then if we can also look at his track record, he has been someone who has been an employer of labor. He has businesses and he has employed so many people in university and all that. And you know, it has rightly been said that anybody who cannot make wealth is not likely to be able to handle wealth. So based on that, he has really desire. I don't know whether we can consider him, whether he can make headway. That is another one. Bafarawa is not popular, even in the north. You should go and sit down.
Okay.
David Mark.
David Mark. No.
Jonah Jang.
Jonah Jang also have EFCC problem. He cannot make
Bukola Saraki.
Kwankwaso is there. But do you know my choice? My choice is Ibrahim Shekaro.
But Shekaro has just come to APC from PDP.
When?
It's in the news.
Seriously?
Yes. It's in the news.
Seriously?
Of course.
But that happens to be my choice.
It's
you know why?
News. Yeah.
I've listened to this man. He's such an intelligent person. But it's a pity if he has gone.
All right. Let's just close on that. And it's just nice analyzing all these people. But before I close, I want to appreciate you for coming. In conclusion, looking at all what we've said today, great leaders take responsibility for their actions and do not look for someone to blame. For Nigeria to change for the better, the youth must rise up and assume responsibility. We must get our voters' card, join political parties, and take over the affairs of this great nation. It is our collective efforts that will save our fatherland from dying. And just to give some of us that are also looking for which kind of, as we've analyzed, I have one of the presidential aspirants who spoke with us and as an advice on the kind of leaders we need to vote for. I will leave you with that video as we close for today. I want to appreciate my guest, Canon Smart. Thank you for coming, sir. And I want to appreciate Barrister Nonso. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We thank you. All right. See you next time as I drop this video clip from Professor Jerry Gana for you to start deciding on who you need to use that your voters card for next year.
Wow.
Thank you.
We must have the kind of leadership that would give us what the Constitution said. The Constitution of Nigeria says the security and welfare of the people is the primary purpose of government. Therefore, if there is any government that cannot really secure the life and property of the people, that government is no government. It can be said. And we are very, very angry that people are being killed, people are being devastated, areas that people are really under fear. So if for no reason whatsoever, this government must be changed in 2019 because they failed in giving Nigerians security and welfare of the people. That's why some of us, even as we're saying that, look, we're coming out. We need to show Nigerians that there's an alternative so that they can choose.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and viewers and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN.